Welcome, everyone. We are definitely in the process of both personal and professional development with these last segments of all our lessons focusing on Brian Tracy specifically. And I am learning so much. And what Brian keeps repeating in these 27 lessons, and I think we're up to lesson 18, is that if you apply these teachings a year from now, you're going to say, you can't believe what happened. You can't believe what happened to me. You can't believe what happened to me. And that's why I am loving this, because I took a training with Brian Tracy, and I'm thinking maybe 17 years ago, and I implemented these exercises, and a year later, it was absolutely amazing what happened. And Eddie and I, till this day, keep saying, I can't believe what happened. I can't believe what happened. Well, we're doing this one more time, but this time with our beloved Zango family. So I'm just loving all of this. And tonight, our very special guest is my good friend, happens to be from Philadelphia, Donna Mastrangelo. And Donna does an amazing job in sharing and communicating the teachings of Brian Tracy, almost as good, if not better, than Brian does. And it's probably because she's from Philly. There's something about East Coast ladies, and she's always been a take charge lady. And I love her two favorite quotes. All our dreams can come true if, the big word is if, we have the courage to pursue them. And that was from Walt Disney. And her other quote is, what would you accomplish today if you knew you could not fail? Again, it's all about the mindset. Donna studied at St. Joseph's University, Montgomery County Community College, and smart enough not only to be at the University of Penn, so she's a forever learner, but she just got a scholarship at her age. Can you believe this? Absolutely amazing. She's married to her sweetheart, Joe, for over 4 decades, and like us, Joe is her best friend, and they're blessed with 3 sons, a daughter-in-law, and a beautiful grandchild. And her focus, her entire professional career, has been in sales and marketing. And way back when, in the 70s, she went into business with a couple partners that worked out and thrived into a multi-million-dollar business, which she sold and got paid, compared to us, where we sold and did not get paid. And she went back to corporate America for about 14 years. And several years ago, when the economy crashed, she discovered the profession of direct sales, private franchising, network marketing, whatever you want to call it, and it has changed her life forever. So tonight, Donna is going to cover one of the lessons that we've been doing ongoing. And if you're brand new to Zango and you're listening to this, don't worry, because the way these lessons roll with Brian Tracy, you can jump in at any time and always catch up. And I haven't before done much of a bio about Brian Tracy, because I think everybody knows who he is, but I do want to cover that tonight. He owns a company called Brian Tracy International, quite a unique name, obviously. And his goal is to help all of us achieve our personal and business goals faster and easier. Did you get that? Faster and easier than you could even imagine. And he has consulted for over 1,000 companies, addressed more than 5 million people, 5,000 talks and seminars all over the world. And he's a keynote speaker, seminar leader, and addresses more than 250,000 people a year. And we're blessed enough to have his training all part of Zango University. And for those who are new to Zango University, you can find that link at xuworldwide.com, xuworldwide.com/MMM. And the MMM stands for Mentoring with Millionaires Mastermind. So you can catch up on any of the trainings at xuworldwide.com/MMM. And what I want to share with you, part of what Donna's going to be talking about tonight are SMART goals. And if you really understand what Brian is teaching, you will accomplish your goals faster than you could even imagine. And I love this acronym, SMART, because your goals are going to be specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and with a time frame. And this is pretty exciting because on Monday, hopefully you heard the announcement of the new Sizzle Pack Partner Promotion. It's only good for 60 days. So you tie that to goal setting, and some of you are going to accomplish some huge strides in your business. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Donna to continue with part 2 of our 7-step goal setting process. So over to you, Donna.
Thank you, Sandi, and thank you for that great introduction. It's quite a pleasure and an honor to be here and be able to share Brian Tracy's goal-setting process with everyone. So last month we left off with question number 5, so we'll start there. And the question is, what have you always wanted to do but have been afraid to attempt? Admire someone else that's done something that you would like to do. You've looked up to someone for their accomplishments. Maybe even bungee jumping, deep sea diving, run for office, write a book, become a public speaker. He goes on and on and on. Well, very often this is exactly what you've been put on earth to accomplish. This could be your highest purpose. It's like skiing. Once you get to the top of the hill, the hardest part is pushing off. But once you push off, the rest is all downhill. The key to success is taking the first step. In addition, the greatest reason for failure, according to Brian, is that people have 1,000 reasons not to take that first step. Your comfort zone, learned helplessness, fear of failure, fear of loss. And the wonderful thing is, once you set a goal, you can always see the first step. Then you can see one step further. And once you take the first step, 3 things begin to happen. Your confidence goes up. You get feedback, which enables you to self-correct if you've made a misstep. And you get more creative ideas on how to achieve this specific goal. It triggers all 3 things very quickly and all simultaneously. That is why action-oriented is a key quality of successful people. And they decide something, they want it, and they act on it. The next question is, what sort of experience in life, what sort of activities or experience in life gives you the greatest joy and feeling of importance? These are what Maslow calls your peak experiences. What are yours? Now, he pauses during his seminar, which we can't do, but I encourage everybody to go back and look at these and work with the exercises. So he says, what have you done that makes you happy inside and gives you a sense of joy and pleasure? Probably they'll fall into 3 categories. Things you do with your family, things you do for your physical health and well-being, or things you do in work that you do really well, and also your private life, like sports. Whatever your answer is to this question is what you should be organizing your life around, so you would be doing it more often. An exercise he did in his coaching program was he asked, what would you do if you have unlimited funds? You had $20 million. And the group in the room wrote on flip charts at the end of the table. And he said they were all quite astonished when they did the exercise because they found that almost everything they wrote down didn't cost any money. Spend more time with family, exercise more, do more spiritual reading, write poetry, write a book, paint a picture, go for more walks. Always everything they would do really doesn't cost money. It just frees them up from the financial worry. So whatever you wrote for your answer, you should be organizing your life around doing more of it. You should be gearing your life around it because it's the source of the greatest happiness and life's greatest pleasure. He reminds us that quality time with members of your family is a function of quantity time. So that people will often write down, spend more time with my family, spend more time with my wife and kids, because the more time they spend together, the more likely you'll have those special moments, the great pleasure that you'll remember forever. The next question is, of course, one of my favorites, and Sandi quoted it earlier. What one great thing would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail? If you could wave a magic wand and you could achieve any dream, short-term, long-term, big or small, what one goal would you set yourself if you were guaranteed success? So Brian again paused a little bit, and then he tells the audience, I've got good news for you. Whatever you wrote down as the answer to that question, it is possible for you. You have the ability within yourself or with your resources to achieve that goal, because you cannot write a goal down in answer to that question without simultaneously having the ability to achieve it. The only real question is, how badly do you want it? And are you willing to do what is necessary and make any sacrifices to achieve it? So that is the real question. Am I willing to put the effort forth in the weeks, months, years to come? Am I willing to make the sacrifices? Am I willing to learn the subjects necessary? Risk the failures, rejection, mistakes, we're all going to make them, but they're necessary to do it. Because if you can write it down, it means it is possible for you to achieve it. He has never written down a goal that he didn't achieve. Some took him years, but somehow 1,000 things will happen that are outside your imagination right now that will make your goals possible. The starting point is for you to decide what it is, like deciding what your destination is for a long journey. You may have to make many detours and deviations along the way, but you'll eventually reach that goal. Now he tells a story about Socrates. Once upon a time, a traveler was walking down the road in ancient Greece, and he came upon an old man sitting on a rock. And he asked him, he said, I'm lost. Can you help me get to Mount Olympus? So the old man said, yeah, I can help you, but if you really want to get to Mount Olympus, then just make sure that every step you take is in that direction. The old man turned out, of course, to be Socrates, with a typical Socrates answer. The moral is, if you want to achieve anything in life, just make sure every step you take is in that direction and not in 100 other directions. So now down to the real nitty-gritty. Take a few minutes and make a list of 10 goals you would like to achieve in the next year or so. These should be goals that you want to achieve by the end of the week or month, or if you want, you can write down longer goals, but try to keep it within a year because you can actually see them. They're not that far ahead. So the closer the goal term is, the more motivated you are. But 1-year goals seem to be the best. Write them as affirmations. Present tense, positive, personal case. I earn this amount of money by this date. I achieve this weight by this date. I drive this car by this date. The quote-unquote by date tells your subconscious mind that you have a specific date that you want that goal. Now, if all you did in your life was to write down your 10 goals, fold the page, put it away, somewhere you wouldn't see it for an entire year. At the end of the year, you take it out, you would be amazed. It's like a magic trick has happened. You'll be happy and you'll be sad. Happy because 80% of the goals would have been accomplished in the most unusual ways. The number of coincidences would be beyond belief. Sad because you would wish you had set more goals and bigger goals. Brian emphasizes, he says, does it work? Yes. Does it work all over the world? Yes. He's taught in 56 countries. He hears it all the time, like Sandi said earlier. People come up to him after a seminar and said, you won't believe what's happened to me. So once you've done that, now you have to review the goals and ask the next question. What one goal, if you could achieve it within 24 hours, would have the greatest positive impact on your life? Get out your magic wand again and wave it, and you can have any of the goals that you wrote down. Which one goal would have the greatest impact on your life? Whichever that one is, you circle it. Usually it's financial goal or health goal. Sometimes it's business or relationship, but just circle it because that's the most important one. Now this goal becomes the, quote, major definite purpose, unquote. It becomes the central organizing point of your life for the foreseeable future. Remember that whenever you write down, it is possible to achieve, and sometimes far faster than you can think possible. Now, set a deadline on this goal. By this date. Make it measurable. And how you're going to measure that goal. Again, you'll have the money by this date. You'll weigh a certain amount on the scale by such and such. Your business will grow by a certain amount. Always put a number on it because the subconscious mind needs a number. Now list 3 biggest obstacles. And again, he pauses, but he says, what's holding you back from achieving this goal? And write them down. Also, what additional knowledge and or skills will you need to achieve this goal? Get out the magic wand again and wave it. What 3 things would help you the most to achieve this goal? Remember, they're just skills. Whatever you write down that you need, it is a learnable skill. Excuse me. Whose help, cooperation, and assistance will you need to achieve the goal? No one can achieve everything himself. Sometimes it's finding a key person to fit a job in your business. Sometimes it could be finding funding or another source of funding. Perhaps enlarging your circle if possible of possible resources until you find it. Just don't give up the first few sources that turn you down. You don't care if someone says no, just keep asking until you get a yes. Could be you need the assistance of your family or boss or partners. Just write it down. Another great question you have to ask is, what will you do for them? What's in it for them? What is their benefit? So before you approach anyone, figure out how it will benefit to them. Appeal to their selfish interests in a very positive way and start out with that approach. They need a high return on their investment. Sometimes it's even something like a low salary initially, but a high payoff in the end. Substantial shares in the profit of the company. Next, make a list of 7 steps that you can do immediately to achieve your major definite purpose. Remember, this is the goal you circled. 7 actions you can take immediately. And remember, action orientation is everything. Make a checklist. Brian reminds us that the first 10% of the time you spend planning and making your list will be worth 80% of the value of everything of accomplishing the goal. All successful people think on paper. Write it, rewrite it, the necessary steps. Set priorities. What is the number 1 most important action you can take immediately to achieve your most important goal? Look over the list of 7 steps and what one thing is the most important that you can do, and do it now. Which would be the most helpful to get started? First, second action, third action. Write them all down. The last question, what one action are you going to take immediately to achieve your most important goal? Again, write it down as an action statement. Write it down clearly and specifically so that a child can understand it and do it. We can't do this now, but you can do it with your spouse or business partner after you go through the above steps. Brian asked the audience to turn to the person next to you and tell them the one action you're going to do to achieve the goal that will have the greatest positive impact on your life. Only the top 3% have thought through the critical factors on goals. Writing your goals, writing 10 and selecting one, moves you from the 3% to the top 1% of adults. That's kind of sad when you think about it that only 1% of the adults do this. Now you know what your major definite purpose is and created a goal to achieve it. The only thing that counts now is the follow-through. The follow-through critical, but you always know the first step. You've determined the first step, and therefore, no matter how big the goal is, it's just the first step that you have to take. The biggest difference between success and failure is taking the first step, and take it as fast as you can. that wraps up the session for part 2 of the 7 steps of goal setting process. And Sandi, I'm going to send that back to you.
Thank you, Donna. And just to chew on all of this a little bit, because for those of you that are listening that have not watched Brian Tracy do this, go to xuworldwide.com/MMM, and that stands for Mentoring with Millionaires Mastermind. Now, understand it's a recording of a recording, and the mouth isn't syncing with the voice, but that's okay. Just listen to what he is teaching. And what Donna is sharing with you, what Brian is sharing with you, is that anything you want is attainable. And how do you attain it? It's by knowing what you want, what are you willing to do to get it, and what skills do you need to get there. And to me, this is so amazing. I think your words, Donna, these are all learnable skills. And that's why I'm so excited about Zango University and all of the skill building that we are going to provide. And, of course, our mission statement is no one left behind. So if you are willing to be in the game, you can't lose. You absolutely can't lose. The only thing we don't have is a crystal ball as to when you will accomplish your goals. But if you are consistent over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, your success is almost guaranteed. And this is so in alignment as well with our fast track with the book Ask and It Is Given. Oh my goodness. Ask and It Is Given, which we're going to do tomorrow night, Thursday night, is like my reliving the downward spiral that we had 20 years ago, and how all of this helped us to create our dream. And, you know, it's funny, but Brian Tracy, we met when I was in my previous company, and I'm going back probably maybe 16 years ago, and the exercise, Donna, that he talked about writing your 10 highest goals on a piece of paper, I think at the time he said, I will give you 3 minutes. And he gave us legal sheets, you know, a long yellow legal pad, and said, write as many things, big, hairy, audacious things you want to accomplish over the next 12 months, as fast as you can write them down. We didn't limit it to just 10 goals. We filled a whole sheet of paper. And just like he has taught in this segment of his teaching, he said, fold it and put it away and pull it out a year later. Donna, we did that. We did that. And, I mean, we were coming out of financial devastation. And a year later, we pulled out that yellow piece of paper, and Eddie started checking off, like he said, about 80% of everything that we wanted to accomplish, had no idea how in the world it was going to happen. It all came to be. So you might think that, if you're listening, that this is nonsense. Trust me, it's not. There's something about putting pen to paper. You just can't dream about it or think about it. You must put it to paper. And it's like Donna and Brian are saying, only about 1 to 3% of the population ever does this. So you have to think and act on paper first. And when we got the call on Monday from corporate with this new partnership program with the Sizzle Pack, paying out a 40% commission plus a 15% to the sponsor's upline, oh my gosh, we are gonna create the next generation of success stories faster than we did 12 years ago. So do what you need to do, because your goals are waiting for you just beyond your reach if you will do these exercises. So if you have not had the chance to be live on this call and you're listening to this as a recording, remember you can do them direct with Brian as well at xuworldwide.com/MMM. So here's my challenge to you. Before you go to bed tonight, and I know it's late for some of you on the East Coast, grab a piece of paper with a pen and write down 10 of your big goals that you want to accomplish within the next 12 months. I'm not going to say this year because, we're 3/4 of the way through the year, but let's say over the next 12 months. And then fold the paper, put it in a drawer where you'll be able to find it again. And then take action. Take focused action so that you get closer and closer to your goals. And use your support team. Use the training calls. Use these masterminds that are all recorded, as well as all the other calls and webinars that we archive as well. And give accountability to your sponsor or your most active upline sponsorship. And let them know, whether it be an email, maybe at night before you go to bed or once a week. Take responsibility for your actions and send your sponsor or the sponsorship upline, whoever you're working directly with, your accountability for that day. How many sample packs did you get out? Did you, in fact, get the prospect's phone number and email address and possible Facebook address as well? Because if you did not do that, as well as committing to when you were going to follow up in 24 to 48 hours and at what time, then you're not going to have the results of the actions that you want. So it's not just giving out the samples, it's also sending them to a Gift From Us website and let them know you're really looking forward to their opinion of what impressed them the most about what Dr. Templeman explained about the products. That's really, really important. You're looking for their opinion of what impressed them the most. That's critical. And if you do not follow up between 24 to 48 hours, every day that goes by is less likely that they're going to want to communicate with you. So if you've made a commitment, gotten their information, you must follow up. The magic, you've heard this before 1,000 times, the fortunes in the follow-up. And according to the Product Sampling Association, which is typically your traditional businesses, like at Costco. I love going to Costco. It's like a treat for me to go with Eddie, and I sample all the stuff that they're giving out, and usually buy most of it. When you go through the first floor of a department store, they're always pushing samples in your face. When I go to Caesar's Palace on the way to the Apple classes, they've got all these kiosks. They're always shoving stuff in your face. Because why? Because 92% of people who were interviewed said they'd be more than likely to order a product if they could try it first. So the sampling pack is absolutely the way to go. And if you haven't ordered one, then you're really not in business. So make sure you take advantage of that. And, of course, starting Monday, we've got 60 days where they're actually giving out an insane total of 65% commission on that sampling pack. So make sure you encourage everyone, if they're serious about finding long-term recurring income, we want people to what? Fall in love with the products and, quite honestly, not be able to live without them. So we are right at our 30-minute mark. We are right on time. A little quick announcement about Long Beach, California. Very excited. I think we're about 20, maybe 21 days away from the Long Beach Regional. Of course, if you can do whatever you can to be there, make sure your travel plans include staying for Sunday. We're doing a full day of skill building through Zango University. It's going to start at 8:30 in the morning, and we're probably going to go till probably 3 o'clock with Dr. Templeman doing a live Q&A for an hour at the end. So that's the newest update on the Zango University training in Long Beach. You can go to xuworldwide.com, and in your back office, you can log in and get the discounted ticket price for the Sunday event. It's only $20 right now. The price will go up, I think, in about another week or so. I also sent out an email today with a direct link to purchase your ticket through the XUE store. And of course, if you're a member, if you're a scholar of the university, you do get that discount. If you're not a scholar, then I believe the ticket is $25 instead of $20. Still a bargain for sure. I just got a text from Kali at xuevents.com. She has also posted the way to get the tickets there. So make sure you check there as well. And with that, Donna, again, thank you so much for your contribution to help everyone in our Zango Nation to be able to live life as it should be. And, you know, it's interesting. We're preparing a lot of recorded webinars, and I was speaking with somebody probably maybe last Friday or Saturday, and they just sold a property, and they have almost $700,000 in the bank, okay? $700,000 in the bank. And what she said with me is, Sandy, it's frightening. It's pathetic. She said, I've got over $700,000 in the bank, earning less than 1% on that money. Less than 1%. I think she said she's making $250 a month. $250 a month with over $700,000 in the bank. So think about what we can do with Zango by building $500 or $1,000 a month. I mean, that's like having a couple million in the bank. So anyway, we love you all. Thank you for attending. And as Art Williams says in his speech, let's just do it. And with that, we'll say good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Donna. Good night, Sandy. Talk to you later.
Take care. Bye.